Right, paper already in hand, and everyone on set. Let's bring you newspaper review.
All set. I got Chukwudi Okoli here for the newspaper review segment. Chukwudi, good morning to you.
Morning, Nyere. How are you doing?
Very well.
Victor, how are you?
Cold.
Nyere. I know what we are laughing about. I've got the tones now. You're cold.
I'm cold.
So was I.
Cold and lonely.
You see, my gura is really proving very important in my life. I got into it and got here, you know. Happy thing, it was strange that people were watering their crops in June. Thank God it rained today.
Of course, that's good news to farmers and all those who need the rain. But for some people, it is bad news. Like I said, those who do not have vehicles and have to, do one business or the other today. All right, it's the time for the papers, and looking at the headlines on the papers that we have this morning. We'll begin with the Nigerian pilot to lead us, and it leads with danger looms. That's the lead story. The riders, as NSCDC warns of worsening cholera outbreak, 30 deaths so far recorded. Says from January to June, total of 1,141 suspected cases were recorded. That out of the figure, 65 cases were confirmed in 30 states. Alerts Nigerians of increasing trend of cholera cases nationwide. Details on page 4. Away from that, we have another one here. This one says, DHQ says they will not join issues with Zamfara state government. You want to find out what's going on? Page 5 would guide you. Supreme Court reserves judgment in FG's suit seeking autonomy for local governments. Page 5 is also the page to get all the details. And away from the picture story now, we have no going back on self-determination. Yoruba Nation agitators insist. Page 7 is where all the news is. And just below that story, we have police ban Durbar activities in Kano ahead of Salah. Economic hardship, federal government says adulterated foods flooding Nigerian markets. Ebonyi Assembly moves to ban masquerades in public places. Court adjourns Yahya Bello's arraignment to June 27. And finally this morning, below the front page of the Nigerian Palace, we have NSCDC deploys 5,000 personnel to beef up security in FCT. All right, all of that on page 4. Let's quickly move to the blueprint. The blueprint leads your comment on troops wrong. DHQ tells Zamfara governor. The riders says we lost 9 personnel in 1 month. Soldiers neutralized terrorist kingpin, Buhari Yadi, and 232 others. All right, so that's the lead story. And below that, we have a picture story. It's a picture of a big ram. And the tag here says, a ram with 1.2 million naira price tag on sale at Tudunwada in Kaduna State. And that was just yesterday. So wondering what the price will be today and tomorrow. Away from that, we have other stories here quickly. We have World Bank says monetary policy tightening can stem inflation. And that's on page 21. And in a green strip at the bottom of the blueprint, we have PIA implementation. CGN Kyari task judges on cases adjudication. So that's it. That's so much I can take.
All right, and on the front page of the Leadership Friday, just above, okay, the lead story reads, amid failed regulation, British curriculum dominates private schools. Proprietors ignoring FG guidelines, creating own curriculum. Teachers, experts demand stricter monitoring. Education Ministry keeps mum. And above the masthead, LG autonomy, Supreme Court reserves judgment. You get that on page 6. And just a tiny story in there, but weighty. Soludo proposes minimum wage for elected officials. Right, and at the bottom of the front page of the leadership, Well, you see President Bola Tinubu in that picture story with other Vice President Shetima, other government officials and dignitaries cutting the 25th anniversary cake on Democracy Day. And then finally, minimum wage will pay what we can afford. That's according to President Tinubu. That story is on page 7. I think the other stories here have been read on other dailies. Chukwudi.
What is Soludo proposing?
I'm glad you began with that.
Minimum wage
For who?
for elected officials.
Yeah,
Sounds like a good thing.
yeah, it sounds like a good thing. But if
It
you
doesn't
go,
just sound like a good thing. It will be a good thing.
when you talk about minimum wage, it is actually what you should not go below. When you go to the National Assembly, it is not what the Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission okays us, what they should get a salary, that is the issue. It is what comes to them as allowances, which they determine themselves. So,
And even in most cases,
So I don't know what you're-
I've always said when you hear that legislators agree to donate their salary for one cause or the other,
Yes.
I just smile.
Yes.
Because that's nothing.
you see,
It's just a small thing.
There's always a leeway to, bloat it, because it's firmly in their control.
And they will create
What we want is a situation where there's sincerity in all of this, so that the people you are telling to tighten their belt will understand why they should squeeze more and more. The wind should blow equally. Yeah, so fairness is.
I'm glad you are in spirit today.
Oh yeah,
You're in the spirit.
I'm always in the spirit.
Not like the other day.
Labour is saying we insist on 250,000. We will pay what we can afford. That's coming from Tinubu. So it does seem that they are not yet on the same
agreement.
page. They have to do what? Keep
Talking.
talking. That's it. Then there's this one about the British curriculum dominating, what some private schools are doing in Nigeria.
That has been
I hope
for
they're
many
not teaching
years.
them Robin Hood and his merry men
That
or
has been
whatever.
for many years, for a long time.
So where are the monitors? Where are the supervisors? Why are they not insisting on adopting a Nigerian curriculum that
it
will
has
talk about
become-
Ajay Crowther, Nana Vishakiri, and Queen Amina, Queen Amina, is it Zaria?
Of Zaria.
Yes.
Of Zaria.
So why are we not there insisting on what we have domesticated to promote our interests as a people?
You see the last rider there.
Supervision.
Education Ministry keeps mum.
Supervision is everything.
It's become status symbol.
Exactly.
Those who go to those schools. Someone once told me that if your child is not doing aeronautics, is it aeronautics or something that is not in a good school?
Phonetics or something
Not
like that.
phonetics.
Aeronautics?
That is not.
They want the
doing-
children to fly in their dreams.
I just hear all sorts of things that they used to extort
look.
money from parents.
Look, the other time I had to let out a personal thing here, which I don't really have a business to, I said my children went to a school, Auntie Alice really, in Maraba. None of them had less than 8 credits when they... Look, sometimes inferiority complex can drive a man to adopt the absurd. And he thinks he's doing well. These children are bright, they're doing well wherever they are. So we have to be careful. The kind of, lure inferiority complex seems to have on us. I'm not saying that those who have money should not send them to the best of schools and all that. But if you send them to a school that begins to teach them about King Richard and not, Jaja of Opobo, I don't know how much you're helping the home environment to know its history. I don't know how they are distorting the curriculum, but if it's happening at all, they should not try it at all. Because when the exams are set, talking about SSS3 children, for instance, it's what's in the curriculum that they're going to set. It's not what you distorted on your own.
It is because parents patronize them. Like I said earlier, it is status symbol.
Yeah.
That's the way many see.
I just talked about one parent that did not patronize them.
There are many.
Yeah. Okay. Pastor gets life jail for drugging, defiling minor. I think it's about time to begin to tell who's a pastor and who's You know, we took a lady to a cemetery, this Gudu cemetery to bury, and we had issues with somebody to give her the last, you know, blessings before we put her 6 feet under. After some time, one of the brothers, Wafi boy, you know, why are we wasting time? Go and get one of these commercial pastors now. After 10 minutes, you don't come up for here. The point is this: some people will call pastors and some people will call imams and all that, are beginning to challenge God in ways we do not want our Creator to be treated. Now, this is a dicey issue because religion is something the government cannot come into and begin to say, this should not happen, this should not happen. It's a keg of gunpowder. It's a tinderbox. But I'm saying that certain things are beginning to happen in the house of God that should worry us as a people.
All right, so. There's a particular story I was hoping we'd also talk about. That's the cholera outbreak.
Yes.
That's a serious warning, and it's coming from NSCDC. It's important that we take some of the warnings seriously. The kind of water we drink this period, the kind of food we eat. We know times are hard, but just make sure that what you're eating is, you know, properly cooked, and then you consume healthy meat, whatever it is that you're getting. Fruits should be properly washed. Avoid open defecation. These are some of the steps, you know, to avoid, you know, coming down with cholera. This is a critical issue, and it's important that state governments, you know, take this seriously, and, you know, their health officials down to the hinterlands where they are more at risk of coming down with this. So
that's
with
a very important thing you're raising there.
Honestly,
and cholera kills
30 deaths so far.
Oh yeah.
So it's a,
you know,
it's a terrible.
The fantastic rate at which you're losing water.
And the presence
it could be anally
states.
or orally. You know, you're losing water fast. So it's a very dangerous ailment. You know, to even think about.
Chukwudi has done a yeoman job today as usual.
Yeoman, you're not talking about rams?
Rams.
With the price of rams.
Well,
they said in Kano is between 140 and 300.
It's not an area of competence.
And I said, who told me Ojoro yesterday that rams are hitting 1 million? Then one of our workers there said, my neighbor sold one for 950,000. And Okulubaja kept quiet.
And today I can see the one for 1.2. So I'm sure before Saturday to get to 1.5, maybe around the
How
budget.
big is that ram?
From the picture, it's big enough to feed...
To feed the nation?
Not enough.
Well,
like
it is not compulsory for our Muslim brothers and sisters to buy the ram. Please don't do that which is beyond you. Keep the money for school fees if you can't afford to put it on a ram. Simple. Cut your coat according to your cloth.
All right.
So thank you very much.
Thank you, Chukwudi.
Thank you.
For being with us.
We'll take some coffee.
I will.
All right, so we'll take a break now. When we come back, we get into the conversation. We're talking about organs transplantation. Please stay with us.